Ahoy, hoy, Pancasters. I'm Pavo.
And I'm Neil.
And welcome to episode 27 of That's No Moon.
It's a podcast.
It's your weekly digest of all the Star Wars news that is always worth knowing, and whether you want to know it or not, but we're going to tell you about it anyway.
I thought you were suddenly going to go into racing punditry there.
Yes, so Neil, as you've got your little packet down there.
I have my little source of notes. There's only literally like two stories, but one story is a load of sub-stories inside the one.
There is.
Which is a lot to talk about.
Before you delve into your deep sack of news, there is something that we mentioned last week on last week's show. When we were talking about the panels for Star Wars...
Their celebrations.
Celebrations. And we said, isn't it strange how they're not doing a tribute to Carrie Fisher, and that Mark Hamill doesn't seem to be there? And bugging me sideways if whether it was that night or the following morning. It was the
following day, yeah.
They said that Mark Hamill is going to be there to do his Hamill himself, which is the panel that we saw last year. But he is also going to be doing a panel which is a tribute to Carrie Fisher. Yeah,
he's hosting it.
So he's hosting it, and it's going to be his panel. But I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be him just giving anecdotes about Carrie Fisher. So we sort of preempted it with what we said last week by saying, wasn't it strange that they haven't...
But then we did say at the end of the bit when we were talking about that, obviously, that there were slots that were to be confirmed.
To be confirmed. And obviously special guests that to be confirmed, which is a nice segue into the first story.
Yes. So with the already growing amount of stars attending this year's celebration, a new one has been added to the bill. Hayden Christensen. What's he been doing? Has been revealed, and it's his first appearance since 2002, which I think is amazing. Because obviously Revenge of the Sith was 2005.
Yeah.
So he will be meeting fans, signing autographs, as well as appearing on panels. Now, there is one more to this, and that's Dennis Lawson.
Right.
He's going to be there as well.
Dennis Lawson was the strange one because... The last few interviews that I've read of him, he's been very dismissive of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And the fact that apparently I think it was Force Awakens, he had a chance to come back, and he was very sort of, why would I want to do that? It would just be boring.
Yeah.
Maybe people like Jeremy Bullock have said, listen, mate, all you got to do is sit there for a few hours, sign autographs, and just smile, and you can make yourself a nice bit of money.
Yeah.
So maybe that's...
Because they're going to pay for him to go over.
Exactly.
They will pay for him to be put out. And it won't be too shabby a place.
He will also get a great reception. I'm sure he will, because Wedge is one of those characters.
Yeah.
Been in all the original trilogy that... He's
got
beloved.
like a following, hasn't he? He's got a cult following.
Beloved. Now, as for Hayden Christensen, that opens up for me, as soon as I heard that and read it, that opened up a whole different thing for me.
In what way?
In the fact that I think he's going to be in The Last Jedi.
What, as
a Force Ghost? I think that Anakin is going to appear like with Yoda. I mean, if Yoda appears and maybe Obi-Wan Kenobi appears, Anakin has to appear. He has to.
Yeah, so I suppose they're going to...
Yeah, not necessarily just to Luke.
Well, yeah, if Rey is a Jedi, then it could be...
Even to Kylo Ren. Even to Ben. Why would he not appear to Ben? He was Darth Vader, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. But they never mentioned that the dark side of the Force had Force ghosts, did they?
Well, maybe
would they have Force devils?
Maybe not. I mean, is a ghost a good thing?
They could have the Emperor appear to him.
A Force demon.
No! No!
Maybe he'd go, yeah, like he does in that one bit.
But
I think...
Turn out it'd be Ron Atkinson, because there's one bit in Revenge of the Sith where the Emperor, when he first changes, looks like Ron Atkinson.
For our American viewers, Ron Atkinson is a English... soccer manager of the 70s and 80s, I think.
He's a bit disgraced.
Disgraced, yes. Very old-fashioned kind of guy. But I think it's great to see Hayden. I mean, he's always got a really bad... Same as Jake Lloyd, they both got really bad... They got dealt bad hands.
Yeah, because I don't think Hayden Christensen is at all a bad actor. There's a film he did called Shattered Glass.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that?
I've never seen it.
It's a very good film, and he's really good in it. He shows that he can actually act.
I think it was... And as anybody knows me, I love the prequels, I do, but there are obviously bits that make you wince. And
But is that
the lines that he has to say and the direction that he was given? He was on a hide into nothing.
Exactly. He wasn't very well directed.
No.
I mean, we love George Lucas. He is the god and everything.
Yeah.
But the guy's not a director.
No. And the way that they do the overdubbing, the ADR on some of it, it just sounds awful. It sounds like it's a completely wrong reading for some of the lines that he has. You know, you have overestimated my power, and it doesn't quite work. And
no.
It should have been a real that especially in Revenge of the Sith, and there were moments that you could see the pain and the anguish that he was in, and I just think he was not directed correctly.
Because there are moments especially in Revenge of the Sith, where he's good.
Yeah.
You can see he's good. I mean, I think he was dealt a short hand, and I genuinely, I love Star Wars, and I'm like you. I enjoy the trilogies and the original prequel trilogy and everything. But I genuinely think it's damaged his career a little bit.
Oh, without a doubt. Same as it did for Jake Lloyd.
Yeah.
You can't really come back from that, I don't think.
No.
Because it's such a monumental part to get. It is a shame. But I think I love the fact that he's embracing it. That you know, again, he'll probably walk in there and everybody is going to absolutely love him.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, it's not people aren't going to boo him and go, "Oh, you were crap." They are going to love him for the fact that he is going to obviously be a bit tongue-in-cheek. He's going to take it all as very light-hearted and have probably a whale of a time. I'd go up and shake his hand. I don't think it's his fault. It's you can only do what the director, especially someone like Lucas, during that period when no one is telling him to rein it in, no one is saying to him,
well,
that line
how
is a
can
bit
you?
bad,
The man's putting up his own money to make them. You know, they're almost independent films.
Yeah.
So you can't really tell the guy that's financing it, who's directed it and has written it, to say, actually, mate, you can't do that. You know, which is quite, in one way, it's quite good that Disney have now got it, because they got different people that can say, no, I don't like that. No, you need to change that. No, you need to make that better.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's where the Force Awakens actually grew and became a better film to me than your prequel trilogy.
Well done, Hayden.
Yeah, we'll support you all the way. And it'd be nice to see him on the screen.
It would.
So, Pav, an insider has been speaking about the future of Star Wars and Star Wars movies. Now, this is all speculative. And so let's begin with the next movies coming in the universe from Star Wars that we already know. So after the Han Solo movie, what is next in the standalone universe? Well, it's often been said about an Obi-Wan movie. We've spoken about it on this, and obviously the rumour mills and everybody, and it was we actually thought Ewan McGregor was going to turn up at last year's celebrations. So it's strongly believed that it will be announced at this celebrations coming. And so what has been said, Kathleen Kennedy and the rest of LUCASFILM fully intend to make an Obi-Wan movie set between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope with Ewan McGregor. But the next sentence should dispel the rumours. I want to emphasise that it is a movie singular and not a trilogy. Oh, sorry, I've missed a bit. That's my mistake. That was jumping a story. So the Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan movie. So a singular. Right. So it's nothing we don't already know, but it's an insider saying it will be. Well,
this was what was dropped on StarWarsNewsNet.com, which is a really good website.
It's a long interview, so it's trying to paraphrase a lot of the interview down and the stories.
I mean, you say, but the thing is, you say it's a lot of what we know. It's all speculative, so it's not what anybody knows. It's all rumor.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I mean, the thing that obviously makes sense is that it would be a singular movie.
Yeah. No, I was going to talk about the next bit after we spoke about it being the Obi-Wan movie.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, we have spoken about it over the last couple of weeks. Obi-Wan would be a great standalone movie if it's set between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, because it's just perfect for just standalone adventures that he would have in that 19 years or whatever it is.
Now, I started to read all of it, and then it did say this could contain a spoiler, as you read down it.
Right, okay.
And there's a bit, and I didn't read it all, but you might be able to just help me, about a famous battle with a big monster Obi-Wan has. I didn't want to read any more.
Well, that could be something to do with what is in the latest series of Rebels,
right?
Which isn't particularly a spoiler unless you've seen Rebel. If you've seen Rebels, it's not a spoiler,
right? I haven't.
Right, but then so the episode before the finale, the last 5-6 minutes is Obi-Wan Kenobi on the sands of Tatooine, and he fights a particular person.
A person.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, whether you wanted to know about it, I can tell you about it afterwards. But it's
okay. No, I just wondered what it was. Would that be part of the movie? Do you think?
I don't. It can't be because Rebels is canon, so it's part of the story that's already been told.
Okay.
I would say anyway. Yeah.
Right. So we did say that obviously it would be a singular movie, which makes sense. Now it's also said that the Rogue One director Gareth Edwards could be returning to directing duties, as Kathleen Kennedy said that she was happy with his work on Rogue One. So they're saying now, does that mean he will be returning to the Obi-Wan film? It's also believed that the producers and writers will be different of that of the first standalone film. So would you be happy to see Gareth Edwards come back and do another standalone film?
Yeah. Rogue One was a great movie, so
visually it's stunning, but then
it's whether or not he wants to give up another 2-3 years of his life doing another Star Wars movie with the constraints that has.
Because he's gone from being independent, Monsters, straight into a big studio movie, Godzilla, which was Legendary Studios, which has a huge studio behind it, massive budget and a lot of expectation. From that straight into another studio movie with a big expectation. It's a lot of weight on your shoulders.
It is, but again, it's if that's what you want to do, then why would you not just make studio movies for the rest of your career if you're able to do that?
It's a great pension fund.
Exactly. But and if you're a Star Wars fan, you get to make Star Wars movies for the next for a 6-year chunk of your life or whatever. I don't think things can get any better than that, can they? I mean, the constraints are only the constraints because of the story that, if you're a Star Wars fan, that you love.
Yeah.
So for me, it'd be if they came up and said, "Would you like?" They don't have to say, "Would you like?"
Well, there was also rumours and things like he was taken off of directing Rogue One and he didn't do this and he fell out, and you heard all sorts of different rumours.
I think it was that there was reshoots, weren't there? And then people were just coming in and giving their ideas, and as a lot of people in the business say, that this happens all the time.
Yeah.
So
reshoots are nothing new. I mean, I was never particularly worried because that they are always reshooting films.
Yeah. Well, I know that because in the following, I think it's the following story, you talk about Josh Trank.
Yeah.
That was different because I think Josh Trank allegedly, and rumor has it, had a bit of an attitude that was wrong for the movie and wrong for Lucasfilm. Yeah. That's why he departed.
Well, there was all this business with the Fantastic Four, which we'll talk
so I don't think that had any bearing with Gareth Edwards. I think it was more that the more ideas and that the story may have got itself in a little cul-de-sac, and they needed to bring people in to think of it through again. Because you can read
about different types of ending to Rogue One, can't you? They talk about how it was originally going to be. And, you can read all about this online rather than let's go through it and how different it was going to be. So maybe it was like somebody experienced director, because they spoke of, what's his name, Gilroy coming in, wasn't it?
Tony Gilroy.
Tony Gilroy.
He came in and did a rewrite, and he came in and helped out Gareth Edwards, however you want to define.
But that might be just experience to do something and get that right. It doesn't necessarily mean Gareth Edwards has done something wrong and been taken off the film.
No.
But you're always going to get this sort of speculation from the press, the media or whatever, and the social networks talking about this. Right, so as we just alluded to there, so that we've always known that Lucasfilm have had Boba Fett movie knocking about, and it looks like they are still going ahead with it. Previously, Josh Trank was on board to direct after his Fantastic Four movie, and it was all prepared to be announced at the celebrations in Anaheim. Well, that seemed to die a death, and Rogue One became the first standalone movie. Now, it died a death because of what you said. We don't know the full ins and outs of exactly what happened with Josh Trank, but let's just say his career seems to have disappeared now.
Well, yeah, I think he's just having to start again, isn't he?
Yeah.
I don't think he helped himself, and the rumours that he was a little bit troublesome on and off the set doesn't help his image, I don't think.
I mean, it was famous, that tweet about the movie.
Yeah.
And when you speak out about a big studio, it can ruin you. So, what of the Fett movie? Rumour has it that it won't be an origin story, why would it? But more of an ensemble piece about bounty hunters out on an adventure. It seems they are sticking with the same story Trank had at the beginning. Now, why would it be an origin story? Because that's basically Attack of the Clones, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it doesn't need to be an origin story.
No.
But an ensemble piece. We spoke, was it on here? But we've talked about it, definitely. That it could be like a Western.
Yeah, that's what I think we might even spoke about it last week or the week before.
Yeah. So I'd love to see that. Do you think then, again, with the Boba Fett movie, should he keep the helmet on? Or should he be an actor underneath and take it off?
I think it should be like Judge Dredd.
So he just always has...
because... I mean, even if they got a named actor to play him, well, why would he have his helmet off?
Yeah.
It wouldn't make any sense to have his helmet off. Because...
when he's relaxing in the bar.
Well, yeah, but Boba Fett is...
Or the love scene.
Even in Jabba's palace in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
He's relaxing in Jabba's palace. He never takes his helmet off.
No.
It's not like he's
just see this thing, like I said, he has a love scene lying down with a woman. He's got nothing on, but he's still got his helmet on.
That's what I think he should. I think he should, because even when he's chatting those girls up in Return of the Jedi, he touches one on the chin. He's got his helmet on. He keeps that mystery, and I don't think he should. If it's going to be that kind of thing, maybe he's the leader of a particular group of bounty hunters.
Would you like to see, I mean, thinking of that, like the collective of bounty hunters that are in The Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah.
Well, it would be great fun to see those, wouldn't it, in it? Just all that they're all there together.
Well,
that would be fun.
Like a Magnificent Seven kind of thing. I think it would be a really good idea, because it doesn't have to then be a Boba Fett movie.
No.
It could be like a...
So it would be an action film.
Yeah, well, but I would say all Star Wars films.
No, but
but
I meant more of like a cowboy, like you say, a Magnificent Seven. Because we said about it before. Boba Fett isn't a bad guy; he's just the mercenary for hire.
Exactly.
Whoever has the highest bid, he'll work for.
Yeah.
So he could be an anti-hero.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, it'd be fun.
And it then makes you. It is that little bit of the finding out where Han Solo's name comes from that we talked about last week, in the fact that then. Because you think of Boba Fett as a baddie.
Yeah.
If you draw a line, you put who was a goodie and who was a baddie, Boba Fett goes in the line of the baddie. If then he becomes an anti-hero, does that then take away what you already know about Boba Fett? Take some of the badness away from him? I don't know.
Not unless, if he's going to be a mercenary, like you say, or he's going to be this gun for hire, would it take away from that? I mean... sensibly, you would think, well, obviously he was paid a lot of money for Solo and all of that.
Yeah.
That's why he was the bad. He's only there because he's being paid.
Yeah.
But it'd be also...
Just the point is wasted.
Would you like to, on a Boba Fett movie, what would you like to see to relate it back? If it was going to be like a singular movie just about an adventure of the bounty hunters and everything like that, what would you like to see from the original Star Wars to make it still feel like Star Wars?
Well, maybe that Jabba the Hutt is involved in there somewhere.
Yeah.
It would almost be good to see it as a follow-on from Return of the Jedi. So, because I still like the idea that Boba Fett is like the Princess Bride.
Yeah, it could be.
The Boba Fett isn't the Boba Fett that was in Attack of the Clones.
It's just the name.
It's just the name. So some drifter comes across the Sarlacc pit and sees the just the armor that has been spewed out by the Sarlacc monster, and just grabs it and takes it. And then obviously he is then Boba Fett, because he'll go to some bars or something, and some bounty hunter will go, "I thought you were dead." And off he goes, and he can make himself money being Boba Fett. That's just an idea that you can have, but then it would be, it's the idea of the person rather than the person that's inside the armor.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea, actually.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
I'll send it to Kathleen Kennedy myself.
Okay, copyright Pancast 2016. 17.
So
17.
Next up, where does the Star Wars franchise look like it's going as we move forward? Kathleen Kennedy has spoken how she would like more women directing in the franchise, with one project being mooted for a young adult audience, aiming for the teen market and having romantic themes to it. Think Han and Leia in The Empire Strikes Back. And going forward with this, what do you think? Twilight in the Star Wars.
Yeah, well, the book that a lot of people, if you read up on the extended universe novels, is a book called Lost Stars.
Right.
That a lot of people say is the best book that has been written so far.
Oh, really?
And it's basically about. It's almost like a Romeo and Juliet kind of thing. You've got a woman, a young woman, and a young man. One's on the rebel side, one's on the Emperor side, Imperial side, but they've grown up together.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like, is it Rosencrantz and Guildenstern?
Yeah.
The Shakespeare?
Yeah, from Hamlet.
So you see, I've not read the book. I've been waiting for it Audible in the UK. Bring it out on audiobook so I can listen to it at work, because they haven't got it on. I want to listen to it. But they go through a lot of the, this is what I've read, they go through a lot of the major moments in Star Wars history.
But they're in the background.
So they're seeing it from a background point of view.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, but it's a young adult novel.
Yeah.
So it's got a lot of romance and that kind of thing in it. So whether they would go for something like that, I mean, look, it wouldn't be my demographic.
But it would be fun.
But
and it's
I'm a Star Wars
different.
fan, so I would go and see it.
Of course you would. And I tell you what it would also be is something refreshing, that they're prepared to try something new in it and not just stay to any old formula.
But I think if they did it like that Lost Stars,
yeah,
where, because then as a older Star Wars fan,
yeah,
I could relate to it, because it would be interesting that you are seeing certain things you think that's from Empire, or that's from Jedi, and that would be interesting.
It'd be, well, like you say, it'd be great fun to sit and watch and then realise that, oh, that's that bit from...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds a really interesting.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. But again, it's also then making new Star Wars fans.
Yeah. Bringing in new generations. And bringing it
then onto the generations for the future.
Yeah, well, obviously they want to keep it going.
Which then segues into
lovely. So what is in the Star Wars future? And well, it seems Star Wars movies could have a hiatus and have a break. They have spoken about that. They're keen to move into the world of TV as well, which we've spoken about before, and I think that would be a fantastic idea. Something like an R-rated TV series would be fantastic in the Star Wars universe. And so that when this trilogy finishes, there could be a break before the next trilogy, which makes perfect sense. Lucasfilm has spoken about not giving the Star Wars universe fatigue, which, perfect. If reading, obviously, on Star Wars Net, they equated it to being like Avatar, and seeing how the Avatar model works when they have had almost like a 10-year break. I hope Star Wars don't do that between the Avatar movies, and it's going to be fresh going back, isn't it? If they were just to roll out this trilogy, that ends, a year break, and then a new trilogy start, I really do think that wouldn't work.
Well, if you read into what it is that they actually said on their story, they said that the saga trilogies are generational.
Yeah.
So you would need to leave a little bit of time between, if you want to call it the Rey trilogy, for there to be time to make it so that if Rey survives through these movies, that she is then almost like the elder statesman of the next trilogy.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Perfect sense.
Obviously, we can't say whether that really makes perfect sense until you see what the story is going to be for episode 8 and episode 9.
But they also talk about, I mean, Disney obviously own Marvel, and Marvel have quite famously put up their schedule for like the next 10 years or whatever. Star Wars haven't done that, and they aren't doing that.
But then that's different, because you've got Iron Man, you can do Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and not have to do another Iron Man film then for another 3 years. Yet you can then have, in 9 years, you can have 3 trilogies.
Yeah.
and they've got story links to it, but they're not. It's not the same story pushing through all of it, which is what happens with the Star Wars movie.
Exactly.
It's so you couldn't have episode 7, 8, 9, and then start again episode 10, 11, 12, because they're all the same story. That's how I look at it anyway. It's the same story. But obviously they were talking, and I think everybody assumed that the movies were going to be coming. You're going to get a movie every year.
Yeah, for the next... or however long.
And then some people even speculating them, right, if they're going to do that, then it's going to go to 2 movies. Seeing as they've moved Han Solo to May, are we going to go now May, December every year? They've obviously put the kibosh on that and said, well, look, we're going to take a little break. Because, again, the last thing I would want is for people to start getting really bored. The best way, I think, to be able to get away from that is then to do like a long-form TV series.
Which is a superb idea.
Yeah, now they've already got 100 scripts written for the Star Wars Underworld, which was the one that George Lucas was going to do. Whether they would then sort of drag them out, but they said that was too expensive. I mean, now that the movies are taking $1 billion every movie, maybe that isn't so much of a problem. I would still love to see an Old Republic.
Oh yeah, go back.
Go right back.
It'd be great.
And have Sith versus Jedi.
Well, like you said, it would
like
be
a Game of Thrones
type
of thing.
Yeah.
Because there isn't, I mean, I suppose unless you play the Old Republic games and stuff like that, I don't know how much of that is actually canon. I don't know if that's...
I really don't
whether
know.
they've wiped the slate clean, but there is so much you could do with that. You know, but then you could...
I mean, it's an infinite universe. Let's be honest.
That's
why, I mean,
universe.
If they stop the trilogies, there's nothing to say they couldn't just release that odd standalone movie, because you could just keep it going. I mean, whatever they chose as a subject, it could be a completely new thing in the Star Wars universe, but it could still be Star Wars, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
And that could just carry on. But what would you really like to see come in the future for a Star Wars thing? What would you absolutely love?
What do you mean?
Like, would it be the Obi-Wan movie? What is up there to be?
I don't know. For me, it's the saga. I want episode 8 and episode 9 to be as good as The Force Awakens.
Yeah, if not better.
So that when it comes to, I'll just eat all of it up. Even the young adult movie, I'll just eat it all up, and I always will. I caught myself watching the first 45 minutes of The Force Awakens again a couple of days ago,
right? And
even now, I still just look and just see how. I don't know what it is about that movie. It's the color palette. It's the. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. I find it really hard to put my finger on why I get drawn in to that movie every time it's on. The design of the stormtroopers, and I just don't know what it is. Yeah. I really find it hard, and I just, even now, I was watching it and just looking at it, I think it's the stormtroopers. I think it's the design. I just love the design of the stormtroopers.
The new stormtrooper is amazing,
and it's just that thing that I keep looking at it, and I just the lines and the colours, and I don't know. I'm waffling on because we've nearly hit half an hour. So.
All right, one just last thing. Are they moving the Han Solo movie to May? Are they keeping it there because obviously that was when the original Star Wars movies came out, or is it, as I've read now somewhere, that they're trying to avoid Avatar?
Well, Avatar's been moved.
Is it not?
Avatar's not coming out December 2018 now. They've moved it back apparently.
Okay.
And but I don't think Avatar. Why would Avatar be a problem?
I don't know, but that's only what I was reading.
How many people do you know salivating at the thought of another Avatar movie? It's been like over 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't see there being any sort of buzz on the internet unless obviously you get the first trailer. It's fantastic. It's awesome. All of a sudden, everybody's back on. But I haven't seen any buzz or heard any buzz from anybody going, I'm really looking forward, or I've really missed Avatar.
I mean, that's become like the biggest movie of all time, Avatar. But you don't hear people still now talk of it. No. And even when it was out and everybody was going to see it, it wasn't like this huge thing. Like, I remember when Jurassic Park came out, and it was probably one of that and Independence Day were some of the movies that I remember every showing you went to was sold out for ages.
Yeah.
you heard people talking about it on the street, wherever you were. But Avatar, nobody really spoke about it.
I think it was a thing of that particular time. I think the 3D of it, because you have to give it. It's one of the best movies to watch in 3D.
Yeah,
it's immersive. It has a reason to be in 3D. The story is very generic, but the special effects were fantastic. I went and saw it, I think, 2 or 3 times at the cinema.
Right.
But every year since, I mean, I might watch it. I can't remember the last time I watched it.
No, it's been a long time.
Yeah. So it's I don't know what he needs to do to. But again, once that one comes out, and if that one's fantastic, the fact that he's doing 3, 4, and 5 or whatever he's doing, you'll then be in. Everything will be Avatar. So fair enough. I don't think Star Wars needs to run from anything.
No, it's a behemoth in itself.
Yeah,
isn't it?
I really don't think that it's thinking. Well, yeah, we'll stay away from Avatar. We'll move to main. I don't think that was in their thinking at all.
The Star Wars behemoth.
Indeed.
Right, well, what do you think? Is Star Wars right to be scared or not scared of Avatar? What are you looking forward to coming up in the Star Wars years ahead? Let us know in the comments below. And when you do leave a comment, remember to like the video.
Indeed. And if you want to come and subscribe, just click on Boba Fett's head, which you'll see our little sign there. And when you do click on that and subscribe, then just click the little bell icon. It's a bell icon. And then it'll notify you every time we release a new video, be it a That's No Moon, which is every Wednesday, or our trailer reactions, which come and go whenever we seem to do a massive load of them and then nothing for a while.
But then that's a bit like trailer releases.
And that's trailer releases. Or Hell No, or Review Rewind. We've got so many different shows on our YouTube channel. So come along and have a bit of fun with us.
Absolutely.
So there you go. That's it for another week. It was a long one this week.
It was. Loads to talk about.
Loads to talk about, all from one story.
It was.
So it was a good job we saw that one there.
I know.
I don't know, we've been talking about Star Wars beans at Tesco's for a turn.
Star Wars Lego.
Can't stand it. There we go. Thank you very much. So thank you very much from Pavo.
Thank you very much from Neil.
And may the Force be with you all.
Way.